Welcome to the Shutdown edition of West Wing Week, your guide to everything that's happened over a week when the House of Representatives shut down the government, while the president continued to urge them to pass a budget and open the government back up, and the 6-month enrollment period for the Affordable Care Act went into effect. That's September 27th to October 3rd, or just vote and end this shutdown.
Just vote and end this shutdown, and you should do it today so we can get back to growing this economy, creating jobs, and strengthening our middle class.
On Friday, and again on Monday, while the deadline of October 1st loomed for Congress to fulfill its responsibility to pass a budget, the president urged them not to hurt our economy and the middle class by shutting down the federal government.
Unfortunately, right now, House Republicans continue to tie funding of the government to ideological demands like limiting a woman's access to contraception or delaying the Affordable Care Act, all to save face after making some impossible promises to the extreme right wing of their party.
Then, at midnight on Tuesday, for the first time in 17 years, House Republicans chose to shut down the federal government. The president spoke in the Rose Garden on Tuesday morning.
My basic message to Congress is this: pass a budget, end the government shutdown. There are a whole bunch of things that I'd like to see passed through Congress that the House Republicans haven't passed yet. And I'm not out there saying I'm going to let America default unless Congress does something that they don't want to do. That's not how adults operate. Certainly that's not how our government should operate.
The president was joined on the steps of the Rose Garden by a group of Americans who will benefit from the opening of health insurance marketplaces. He invited them into the Oval Office to hear their stories and mark the historic nature of the day, the first day of a new and better way for Americans to shop for insurance as a part of the Affordable Care Act. On Wednesday, the president spoke with John Harwood of CNBC on the need for Congress to reopen the federal government. Then, the president hosted congressional leaders at the White House for a meeting on the shutdown. On Thursday, the president visited workers at M. Louise Construction in Maryland.
Companies like this one worry that their businesses are going to be disrupted. This isn't happening because of some financial crisis. It's happening because of a reckless Republican shutdown in Washington. It's not as if Republicans haven't had a chance to debate the health care law. It passed the House of Representatives. It passed the Senate. The Supreme Court ruled it constitutional. You remember all this. Last November, voters rejected the presidential candidate that ran on a platform to repeal it. The Affordable Care Act has gone through every single democratic process, all three branches of government. It's the law of the land. It's here to stay.
Meanwhile, the vice president took some time out to thank federal employees at the White House for their work under the circumstances. To find out more information about how to get covered, go to healthcare.gov. And thanks again for checking out your West Wing Week.
It's really a faction, about 40 or 60 of them, who are adamant about trying to undercut the law. The president wants to defeat them, make them
make
sure
is
the
what happened.
Obamacare
Is
law
what happened
stays in
17
effect,
years
and
ago,
he
and
wins this.
I think you were here.
The budget dispute with Republicans on his terms. That will be the main message.
Here we go.